What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, guys. We are now going to be reviewing a couple leagues here, guys. I appreciate you guys for all the wait. We did have some plans with family in the past few days, so that's why I couldn't review a lot of teams, a lot of leagues. But now we are back, guys. We're going to be back on this grind. We got a lot of leagues, guys. We got leagues 34, 35, 37, 38, 39, and 40. We got about 6 leagues to review, gentlemen. So I hope you guys are all ready for this, guys. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. We got a lot of new people to take care of, a lot of new teams to take care of, guys. We're going to start off with League 34, gentlemen. League 34. I hope you guys can see everything. We're going to start off with a couple people in here. We do have a lot of people here. We're going to review teams based off of a couple things, guys. First, we're going to review teams off of draft capital. So first, second, and then third. He has 3 second-round picks. That automatically gives his team a boost. So with that being said, his draft capital rating, I'll give it about an 8.2. You know, if you have all your draft capital, that's a good, that's a good 6.57. But now if you have more, that's about an 8.2. So an 8.2 draft capital. Now at the end, we're gonna count up all the ratings and go with a final rating on his team. So Warzy, we're gonna start off with you, brother. 8.2 draft capital. I love your second round picks. You could get a lot of value from those picks. If we go ahead and take a look at your team, Warzy, you picked at the 110. It looks like you also traded back from the 110. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Make sure everybody can see everything, gentlemen. All right, we're going to be looking at your quarterbacks. You have Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert. 10 out of 10. You cannot draft better quarterbacks than this, guys. You have Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. You also have Malik Willis on top of that. That's a 10 out of 10, guys. You guys will not see a better quarterback room unless you guys are trading heavily for quarterbacks. Chase Brown. Now we're going to take a look at your running backs. Chase Brown, Travis Etienne. Your running backs are kind of on the lower side. I will be honest, man. Don't get me wrong. I like Chase Brown. I like Travis Etienne, but we do need a third running back just because of injuries. I'm going to give you a running back room in general around a 4.2. I'm not the biggest fan of your running back room. Let's take a look at your wide receiver room. Ladd McConkey and Devontae Smith are going to be great wide receivers. You also have Michael Pittman, Quentin Johnson, and Jacoby Myers, Chris Godwin, and Brandon Ayuk. What I will say is that I'm trying to see a little bit more younger people on your wide receiver room. I'm trying to see people like, Carnell Tate, people like Mekhi Lemon. Don't get me wrong, Ladd is younger, but Ladd's turning 25. Devontae's turning 28. Jacoby's turning 30, I think. Michael Pittman's turning, 29. Johnston, 24, turning 25. So I would have liked to see just a tad bit more rookies or even sophomores on this team, but it's not bad. The wide receiver room could definitely use improvement. I will give the wide receiver room a 6.8. Now let's take a look at your bench, man. You have Chris Godwin, Ramondre Stevenson, Kenneth Gainwell, Mason Taylor, Brandon Ayuk. So you're definitely playing to win now. What I will say is when you're playing to win now, Warzy, you don't need draft capital, man. If you're playing to win now, I would try to trade all your draft capital next year to try to get another running back. Go ahead and try to get a Breece Hall, a Bucky Irving. Go ahead and try to get a Christian McCaffrey, a Kenneth Walker, a Saquon Barkley, a Jadarian Price. Now with Josh Jacobs being arrested, go ahead and try to get him. Because you have a win now squad. You don't need that draft capital. You need to win now. So I would go ahead and try to get on that running back. So in general, man, I would probably, your quarterbacks are amazing, do not get me wrong, but your running backs are on the weaker side. You have tight end with Dalton Kincaid. That's also on the weaker side, to be honest, man. Your Kincaid tight end. Let's see if you have any other backup tight ends. You have Mason Taylor, man. They just drafted Kenyon Sadiq. Why are we taking Theo Johnson? They have Isaiah Likely. This tight end room probably is a 2.2 out of 10 rating, personally. But with that being said, man, your draft capital is great. Your quarterbacks are amazing. Your running backs could use work with how much running backs you do have. Your wide receivers are on the better side, but your tight end also needs a lot of work. If I were you, I would try to focus on getting another running back and getting a stronger tight end by trading away my draft capital. I'm going to have to give this team a 7.1. strong 7-1. Strong 7-1, Warzy. I really do like what you are doing with this team, but I do think you need to go ahead and trade away your draft capital. With that being said, we are now going to go to Tom. Oh, no, my bad. We're going to go to the Enlightened one, guys. Enlightened ones. All right, Enlightened, you don't have any draft capital for next year besides your 3rd round pick. With that being said, this is going to be probably a 0.8 out of 10 draft capital rating. If you don't have any, future 2027 picks, it's going to be a 0 out of 10, guys. That's as simple as it's going to be. All right, if we take a look at your team real quick, Enlightened, let's go ahead. All right, 1 second, guys. Something happened. For example, guys, we are going to have people. I'm just going to show you guys just so you guys can see what I'm doing, what I have to deal with usually. Not really bothersome at all, guys, but if you guys, every time I have something happening in league, so I do have to go ahead and take care of them. And then, yeah, it's an everyday thing, and I love it as a commissioner. I love it, but during these situations, it does, end up causing some kind of a chain reaction. But with that being said, he doesn't want Boston. He can go ahead and repick. It wasn't an auto pick at the. You're good. All right, boys. With that being said, sorry about that, Enlightened one. All right, your draft capital is a 0.6 out of 10. Your quarterback room, you have Drake May, Lamar Jackson. You don't have a 3rd quarterback, man. What are we doing here? Guys, a 3rd quarterback is very, very much needed for your team. Especially with someone that's injury prone like Lamar Jackson. Especially someone that's injury prone like Drake May. I'm not saying last year he was injured, but the year before that, man. He was injured the year before that. Your quarterback room, I'm going to give it a 5.0 just because you don't have a 3rd quarterback. But I really do like Drake May and Lamar Jackson from where you drafted. Travion and Kyren Williams are going to be... And you have Tudor as well. You have Josh Jacobs. Okay, this is what I will say. I like the depth of your running back room, but man, Travion's competing with Ramondre. Kyren's now competing with Blake Corum. I don't know if you guys seen the projections. Tudor is competing with Chris Rodriguez. Josh Jacobs, we don't even know if he's playing next year, guys. The running back room scares me. I know you have Blake Corum here as well, but it scares me. But it's not bad. I'm going to give it a 6.6 for the running back room. The wide receiver, Jason, Luther Burden, Christian Watson on your starting lineup. I think Luther Burden... 1 second, guys. I think Luther Burden personally is overrated. I've said this multiple times before. JSN is a great wide receiver. Christian Watson is also underrated. Then you have DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed. I think your wide receiver room is on the weaker side as well, man. And I think you know that as well. I think I'm going to give it a 4.8 for the wide receiver room. I think you could have done a little bit better on that side. I don't think you needed back-to-back running backs with Josh Jacobs and Tudor there. I'm not sure what we're thinking exactly. Let me go to your team real quick. I don't think you needed to do this right here. Tudor does have upside, but man, he doesn't have the draft capital for it. I would have probably, if I were you, probably went with Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, or even an Alec Pierce. I would not have minded if you went with Alec Pierce there instead of Tudor. I like Josh Jacobs, don't get me wrong. So the wide receiver room at 4.6, 4.7. Your bench, you have DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed, Blake Corum, AJ Barner, TJ Spears, Rashid Shaheed, Richardson, Tank Bigsby. It's not amazing. It's not amazing, but it's not bad, man. It's not bad. The problem that worries me is DK Metcalf didn't do anything last year. Jaden Reed did not do anything last year. Blake Corum could have some upside, but it's still going to be Kyren's team. But Blake Corum's going to be getting those snaps. AJ Barner did not really do much last year, man. TJ Spears is losing his role as well. Rashid Shaheed didn't do much. The bench could definitely use improvement. From what when I look at it closer, the bench could use improvement. I'm gonna give the bench a 3.2, 3.3. But with that being said, man, this team by itself, besides a quarterback room, it could use a lot of improvement. Now the tight end room, the Chig, I actually don't mind Chig, but it's gonna be hard to see what is he gonna be that tight end one, or is it gonna be the second round tight end that drafted with Ben Sinnott? So that tight end room is also very, very iffy. You have AJ Barner, but man, it's not AJ Barner's backfield. They also have Elijah Arroyo, and they drafted him in the second round, I think. Let me just double check. In the second round, they drafted him in the second round. So, you know, you have competition with these tight ends. Your bench is lacking. Your running backs are in questionable scenarios. Your wide receivers are lacking. If I had to give this team respectfully, I would give it a 4.1 in Leiden. I think you have a lot of work to do. You also don't have a future first-round pick. A lot of work to do on this team in Leiden. A lot of work on this team. But shout out to you for being here. I appreciate you. We're going to go to Tom's team next. Tom, welcome, my brother. If we take a look at your team. One second, gentlemen. All right, Tommy, you do have your first round capital, so that's going to be around a 6 point. I'll give it a 6. When you have all your future first rounds, I'll give it a 6 rating, 6 out of 10, my brother. Let's go ahead and take a look at your team real quick. You have Bryce Young, Tua. Terrible quarterback room. You have Shedeur Sanders as well. Quarterback room is going to be a 1.5 out of 10. I'm not the biggest fan at all of this quarterback room, man. Your running backs, you have Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, Bucky Irving. I really like those. I really like that running back room. We also have JCM, Braylon Allen. I like that running back room. I'm going to give that running back room probably an 8.8. I don't mind that running back room at all. 8.7, 8.8. You have Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, and Ricky Pearsall and Khalil Shakir. Why are we drafting Pearsall? What has Pearsall done last year, the year before that? Nothing. What has Khalil Shakir done, guys? What has Khalil Shakir done to justify drafting him? Nothing. Hey, DJ Moore is there now. Don't get me wrong, Puka and A.J. Brown are going to carry your team, but overall, from your wide receivers, man, from those four wide receivers on your starting lineup, this is a terrible wide receiver room as well. I would have to give this wide receiver room probably a 3.9 just because Puka and A.J. Brown are carrying this team. Your tight end room, you have Kyle Pitts. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for that. Your bench, you have JCM, Shedeur Sanders, Trey Harris, Braylon Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Dylan Sampson, Tank Dell. What are we doing with this bench, man? I get the upside with JCM, but, man, let's just say Khalil Shakir and Ricky Pearsall don't perform because they haven't their whole lives, man. Are you going to start JCM, Trey Harris, Braylon Allen, Dylan Sampson? Your bench is probably a 1.1 out of 10, to be totally honest with you. So with that being said, yes, you have the draft capital, but your quarterbacks are very weak. Your running backs are strong, but your wide receivers are very weak. But your tight end is strong, but your bench is very weak. Do you see how when you have something strong, you also have something weak? You want to have a balanced team, not a weak, strong, weak, strong. You want to have a decent running back room, a decent wide receiver room, a decent flex room, a decent tight end room, a decent quarterback room. So then you can start fixing your team little bit by little. But what I will say is you definitely should trade for a quarterback and some better wide receivers. You have future capital. Either tank for next year, because this is not a winning team, in my opinion, that will win this year. With that being said, I do have to give this team a 3.3, Tom. Don't get me wrong. I see the vision, but your quarterback room drives me off the hill. Your flex room with Pearsall and Khalil Shakir, I don't know what we're doing there. Your bench is also very weak at 3.1, 3.2, Tom. Appreciate you for being here. We're going to go with Big Rice Ball here next. Big Rice Ball, welcome, my brother. If we take a look at your team, Big Rice Ball, you have an extra third-round pick, so I'll give it a 6.2. I'll give it a 6.2, 6.3 for an extra third-round pick out of 10. Yeah, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, and Michael Penix. I don't like Penix. Penix is competing with Tua right now for to be the quarterback one right now, guys. I don't love that. I'm gonna give the quarterback room probably a 4.4. I think that third quarterback, having that is very, very important, guys. I value that a lot, especially in Superflex Dynasty. Kenneth Walker and Cam Scatterbo, guys. With who's your third running back? J.K. Dobbins, Keaton Mitchell. Your running back room, Scatterbo's injury prone, Kenneth Walker's injury prone, and you have J.K. Dobbins. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me get 3 injury prone running backs. You know, that doesn't make sense there, man. If I'm taking Kenneth Walker, who's injury prone, why am I taking Cam Scatterbo here? I'd rather take a Kyron Williams who's not as injury prone. I'd rather take a Javonte Williams who has been healthy last year, or a Josh Jacobs who's not injury prone. You know what I mean? I like Scatterbo, don't get me wrong, but man, he had a nasty injury. Kenneth Walker is injury prone. J.K. Dobbins is injury prone. This running back room needs a lot of work. I'm going to give the running back room a 3.8. 3.8. Your wide receivers, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon. I love it. I love it. And you have Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins now is on the weaker side, of course, but London, Jefferson, Tate, Mekhi Lemon, all on the younger side, all have so much upside. I like that. I'm going to give that team a 9.0 out of 10 wide receiver rating. Your tight end is Kenyon Sadiq. I also like that. I'll give that a 7.0 out of 10 rating. Now, if we take a look at your bench, you have Isaiah Likely, Antonio Williams, Michael Penix, Jalen McMillan, J.K. Dobbins, Mac Jones, Drew Allard. What I will say is, man, you do have upside here. Do not get me wrong, man. You have upside. You have Likely upside. You have Antonio Williams upside. Jalen McMillan, I see the vision. J.K. Dobbins has a safe floor. But what I will say is, I think your bench still needs a little bit more work. I think at the 10-3, don't get me wrong, I like Isaiah Likely, man, but Theo Johnson is there. Theo Johnson is still there, guys. Theo Johnson was not a bad tight end whatsoever. Now, people are saying he might not be the primary option, but he doesn't need to be the primary option. Look at Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. They don't need to be primary options, guys. So just be wary of that. What I will say is your bench needs work and your flex 3 needs work with Jaden Higgins, because I don't trust that. Not only that, your quarterback 3 needs work because that's non-existent. Your running backs need a lot of work, but your wide receivers are awesome. Your tight end is great. And you still have draft capital. I'm probably going to give this team a 5.1, Big Rice. It's average. You know what I mean? A 5.0 is average. 5.1 is just a tad bit above average. It doesn't excite me when I look at this team. It doesn't make me hate it. You know, I see what you're trying to do, but I need you to excite me here. I need you to somehow, what I would do if I were you, man, if you're trying to compete this year, definitely trade your future round picks and get another solid flex 3. Go ahead and try to get a Devontae Adams. Go ahead and trade your second and third for a Devontae Adams. Go ahead and trade your second and third for a Mike Evans, maybe. You know, somebody strong in there. Or go ahead and trade your first for, CJ Stroud, for a Kyler Murray, so you have that quarterback 3 in case one of your quarterbacks gets hurt, because Brock Purdy is also injury prone as well. So a 5.1 to you, Big Rice Ball. Shout out to you for being here. All right, we're going to go to Poppy Shooter next. Poppy Shooter, welcome, my brother. If we take a look at your team, man, you have all your draft capital, 6.0 out of 10. Your quarterbacks with T-Law, Kyler Murray, and you don't have a quarterback 3. Very, very concerning. I'm going to give it a 4.1 because I still like T-Law. I still think Kyler Murray can come back and still be a decent player. But you don't have that third quarterback, so a 4.1 to you. Your running backs with Saquon, Jadarian Price. You don't have a third running back. Very, very weak on the weaker side, man. Saquon was proven to be injury prone. Even last year was, don't get me wrong, last year was a good year, decent year. The year before that was a decent year. But he's still injury prone throughout his career. So I would just be a tad bit concerned with that. I hope you picked up Tank Bigsby. Jadarian Price is not a bad pickup at all, but you need a running back 3 in case one of them does get hurt. Jamar, Ted, George Pickens, Jordan Addison, Terry McLaurin. This is a wonderful wide receiver room. I love the wide receiver room that you have. I'll give that wide receiver room probably a 9.2 out of 10. I like that wide receiver. Your tight end is very weak. Godston, David Njoku is there. I'm not sure what we're doing exactly. I would try to go ahead and trade for another tight end. But you do have George Kittle. Kittle does make up for it. Just this year. I feel like Njoku might get traded next year, and then you might have Godston in that role as well. But Kittle does make up for it. I'll give it a 5.5 out of 10 for your tight end room. Then we have Rashad White, Zach Charbonnet, Tony Pollard, Chris Rodriguez on your bench. Now, I see what you did with your bench. You drafted great wide receivers on your starting lineup, and then your bench you want with full running backs in case one of them takes over. And I actually do like what you did. From looking at your running back room now I might have to give this team a running back room probably a 6.8, 6.9, because I see what you did with your running back room. This is what you should be doing with your running back room, guys. It doesn't seem like you made any trades, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it. For a team that didn't make any trades, this is a very, very solid team. But it does concern me you don't have a quarterback 3. I will say that. But you do have all your futures. I like this team, man. This is a solid 7.2 out of 10 team. So far, I really do like this team. It's a 7.2 out of 10. Shout out to you for being here, Poppy. I appreciate you guys. With that being said, man, shout out to Trip, Poppy, Big, Doctor, Tom, B-Train, Enlightened, Maddie, Ayo, Nick, Worzy, Davis, and Flippy for all being with us, man. We are now going to go forward to League 35 and go ahead and take care of all the people in there, gentlemen. Hope you guys are enjoying your nights, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your nights. All right, we are now going to be looking at League 35, guys. We're going to start off with Brad 031. All right, Brad, let's go ahead and take a look at your draft capital. You do have your draft capital, solid 6.0 out of 10. Let's see who you drafted. You drafted at the 112th, Brad, and you did make some trades here. Looks like you moved down. Let me double check. No, it looks like you moved up to draft Josh Allen. Okay. Then you have Patrick Mahomes. And you don't have a third quarterback. But, man, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are so strong that maybe a third quarterback doesn't matter as much. But I would still be concerned because Mahomes did have that injury. But I like this quarterback room still. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 for the quarterback room because they're just such strong quarterbacks. Your running back room with Chavion, Jadarian Price, Jordan Mason. Weak. Travion's competing with Ramondre. Jadarian Price, he's a rookie. Then you have Jordan Mason, who's competing with Aaron Jones, and he didn't do well last year when Aaron Jones was hurt at all. What I will say is with this running back room, I'm probably going to give it a 3.5 out of 10. Your wide receiver room with Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnson is very solid. But DJ Moore could be the next Amari Cooper. Watson is injury prone. Quentin Johnson is still considered a semi-bust for where he was drafted. So the wide receiver room, I'm probably going to give it a 5.0 out of 10. It's average. It's average, the wide receiver room. That's what I will say. Tight end with Kenyon Sadiq and Mark Andrews are phenomenal. I'm going to give that team a 7.5 out of 10 for the tight end room. And your bench, you have Denzel Boston. Why are we drafting Tua still? Mark Andrews, Jordan Mason, Pat Bryant, Schultz, Caleb Johnson, Tank Dell, Emmanuel Wilson. What I will say is, man, if let's just say Johnson doesn't perform like he needs to, or Christian Watson gets injury prone, or DJ Moore becomes Amari Cooper, right? Are you really going to trust Mark Andrews, Jordan Mason, Pat Bryant to go ahead and be one of your flex players? What I would recommend for you to do is, man, if you're drafting, trade your future capital, trade Josh Allen and try to get a lower quarterback with another quarterback, or improve that running back room for sure. But what I would say is you still have your draft capital. Your quarterback room is very strong. Your tight ends are strong, but your running backs are very weak, and your wide receivers are average, and your bench is very weak. But this team's still solid. I'm going to give it a 5.5. Still a solid team. Still could make a run for it. 5.5, Brad. Just a little bit above average, but I would try to make trades as possible. All right, we are going to go to AE's team. AE, welcome, my brother. You do not have your future first-round pick. That does lower your rating. It's going to be a 3.3 out of 10 for your draft capital, AE. All right, if we take a look at your team, AE, I don't even know how to pronounce your name, man. Okay, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, and you don't have a third quarterback. You do not have a third quarterback. That worries me a lot. CJ Stroud is not trustworthy. Joe Burrow is injury prone. I'm going to give this quarterback room a 4.0 out of 10. So far, not a good start, AE. James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Dave Montgomery, Kyle Monangai. Running back room is phenomenal. Yes, Jacobs got arrested, but you still have Dave Montgomery and Kyle Monangai. I don't mind that whatsoever. Running back room, I'll give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Your wide receiver, you have Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton. I'm not sure what we're doing with the wide receiver room here, But Jefferson and Chris Olave are great wide receivers, but then DK and Cortland Sutton kind of lower it down. But it's an average wide receiver group. I'll give it a 5.0. I'll give it a 5 point solid 5.0. But your tight ends with Harold Fannin and Kyle Pitts is phenomenal, man. And you have TJ Hawkinson there as well. I'll give that an 8.5 out of 10. Your tight ends are definitely on the stronger side. And your running backs are on the stronger side, but your draft capital is on the lower side. Your quarterbacks are on the lower side. Your wide receivers are on the lower side. And your bench, DK, Sutton, JCM, TJ Hawk, Jerry Judy, Isaac Tesla. I would like to see more upside on your bench. Kyle Monanga is also a running back too. In a very good rushing offense, but he's still the running back too. What I will say is about this team is that I want to see more upside on this team. You didn't draft a lot of rookies, a lot of sophomores, a lot of younger people. You know, you want kind of win now, and I get it. I get why you went with win now, because you traded away your future first round pick. But then why do you have your future second and third? Why did you trade for a third round pick? I would try to trade these away right now and try to improve on my flex 3 room with Kyle Monanga. I would try to improve or try to get some upside on my bench, or even get a quarterback 3 maybe. You know, go ahead and trade for a Shedeur Sanders. Go ahead and trade for somebody else that could maybe start for you in case one of these guys gets hurt. But with that being said, I see the vision of this team. I do like this team just a little bit more than Brad's team. I'm going to give it a 5.8. 5.8 AE. 5.8, brother. I do like this team more than Brad's team, but it still needs a lot of work with those wide receivers. It still needs a lot of work with that quarterback 3, with that, you know, upside. A 5.8 AE. Shout out to you for being here, brother. I do appreciate you. All right. With that being said, we are going to go to Ryan's team next. Ryan, my guy, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Ryan, you do not have your future first round pick either. A 3.5 out of 10 for you for that rating. All right, Ryan, let's take a look at your team. You drafted at the 1-9. You have Justin Herbert, Tyler Shough, and Malik Willis. Guys, you don't need a crazy quarterback 3. You just need a quarterback 3 that'll start, that'll get you the points in case Shough or Herbert gets hurt, guys. This is what I mean. Solid quarterback room. I'm going to give it a 6.9 out of 10. 6.9 out of 10. All right, Judkins, Javonte, and Travis Etienne for your running back room. I actually really do like that. I really do like that for your running back room. I'm going to give that a solid 7.5 out of 10. Your wide receiver room with Puka Nacua, Rome Odunze, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden for upside. Not bad at all either. I like that wide receiver room. Yeah, yes, Addison has Kyler Murray. Matthew Golden has improved himself. But this is still a very solid wide receiver room. I'll give this wide receiver room probably a 6.2 out of 10. Tight end with Trey McBride, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 with Trey McBride. I really like that. This is a solid team, man. This is a solid team. Besides you not having a future first, your quarterbacks are still very solid. Your running backs are very good. Your wide receivers are solid. Your tight end is elite. Your bench, Malik Willis, Josh Downs, Jalen Coker, AJ Barner, JJ McCarthy, Dylan Sampson, Jalen Naylor, Keaton Mitchell. Your bench could use improvement. I do like Josh Downs, don't get me wrong. I like the Malik Willis here. I don't mind Jalen Coker, but he really hasn't done anything. Barner, you kind of don't. I'm sorry, but you don't need Barner. You have Trey McBride. In my opinion, in the 13-4, I would have won with somebody else. But what I would tell you right now is this is a win-now team. Go ahead and trade your second and third round picks and get a better, in my opinion, go ahead and get better flexes. But if I had to give this team a rating, I would give it a 7.0 out of 10, man. Don't get me wrong, very solid team, but Jordan Addison and Matthew Golden still scare me just a tad bit, unfortunately. Your bench could use improvement, but besides that, I like the team, Ryan. Shout out to you for being here. I appreciate you. We're going to go forward to the big beast. The big beast. Where you at, big? There we go. There we go. At the At the 1-7, my brother. 1-7. Let's go ahead and take a look at your team. You okay, bud? It's okay. It's okay. I love you. I love you, buddy. All right, guys, my dog's in here as well. All right, the big beast. Let's go ahead and take a look at your team. Let's look at your draft capital. All right, you have 2 first-round picks. You have Ryan's first-round pick. I like that a lot for you. That does bump up your team rating to a 7 point. Your draft rating to a 7.5 out of 10. So that's a strong start. Let's take a look at your team. You traded up to get Drake May, and I don't hate that at all. Getting him at the 1-6. Caleb Williams went at the 1-3. What? Caleb Williams at the 1-3? I didn't see that. All right. Let's take a look at your quarterbacks. So you have Drake May, Jackson Dart, and Fernando Mendoza. I love this. I love what you did with this quarterback room. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really do like it. Your running back, we won't talk about your running back room. All right, we'll just skip your running back room for now. Your wide receiver room: Ted, Lad McConkey, Marv, Casey, JC, Kevin, then Jaden Higgins. I don't mind at all. I like this wide receiver room. Casey has upside. Jaden Higgins has upside. Marv still hasn't hit his full potential. Lad and Ted are still very, very solid. I'll give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Then you have Bryce Young as well. Why'd you draft Bryce Young? You have Mendoza, Dart, and Drake May. That confuses me there. I would since you're fighting for the future, I would try to trade Bryce Young right now for a first-round pick. Find somebody that has a weak quarterback room and give them Bryce Young and a future third for a first-round pick. That's what I would do with your team. Or instead of Mendoza, go ahead and try to maybe get a first and a second for Mendoza. You know, it's not amazing where. Guys, 3 quarterbacks is ideal, but 4 quarterbacks is now tanking your team a little bit. I gave this quarterback room an 8.5. It's gonna go down to probably an 8.1. Too many quarterbacks is also not a good sign, guys. Too many quarterbacks is not a good sign for the quarterback rating. All right, yo, Antonio Williams, Elijah, Zakarian Branch. What I will say is the bench has a lot of upside. You're playing for next year for sure. With that being said, I would definitely try to gather up more first-round picks. But if we're taking a look at next year, RJ Harvey's going to explode next year. Ted Ladd is going to be still very good. Tight end is on the weaker side. Why are we taking Juwan Johnson? He's 30 years old. We're playing for next year. We should not be taking an old tight end. I don't like that for you personally. Tight end is on the weaker side, but your flexes are on the upside, meaning they have a lot of upside. With Marvin Harrison, Casey, Jaden Higgins, and next year they could be even better than this year. So I like that, and your bench has a lot of upside as well. I like when I see future first guys, but what I don't like is I don't like when there's an extra, like an old tight end or an old person on your team. I don't like when there's 4 quarterbacks on your team. You're playing for next year. What's 4 quarterbacks going to do for your team next year? You can only play 2 of them. What, you think both of your quarterbacks are going to get hurt? I mean, I would try to trade one of my quarterbacks for sure, brother. But what I will say is solid team for next year. I'll give it a 6.0 out of 10, the Big B. 6.0 out of 10. All right, we are now going to go to last but not least, Crip, welcome, my brother. If we take a look at your team, right, you do have an extra first-round pick, a 7.0 out of 10. Let's see if you did anything differently than the Big Beast, because he also has an extra first-round pick, right? All right, Bo Nix, Bo Nix and Jordan Love. Great quarterback room, but you do need another quarterback. But you do have an extra first-round pick, so maybe you'll be drafting a quarterback next year. I'll give it a solid 6.2 out of 10 for the quarterback room. Jeremiah Love and Singleton. I like that running back room because Singleton can have upside. Could be the running back one. Jeremiah Love is amazing upside. Your wide receivers is Drake London and Luther Burden. I don't like Luther Burden personally, but that's a personal preference. But Drake London is amazing. Kincaid, weak. Why are we drafting Kincaid still at the 9-9? Instead of Kincaid, give me a Ferg all day. Ferg has exploded. Ferg has shown you how much he can explode. Kincaid has not done that. Kincaid has not shown you how much he can explode. Kincaid's been on and off, on and off, on and off. With Dawson Knox being there, on and off, on and off. Brian Thomas, Omar Cooper, Ricky Pearsall. For next year, I don't mind these players. For this year, not the brightest, but you did get them at a decent spots. Chris Bell, Jeremy. Is it Jeremy or Journey? Jeremy, Chig, Emmett Johnson, Allen, Goddard. Why are we drafting Goddard? Why are we drafting Goddard? Trade Goddard away for a future third, maybe a second if you get lucky. Go ahead and see who has Eli Stowers and go give him a Goddard for a third. Torrey Horton, Brandon. Why are we drafting Brandon Ayuk as well? He's being released. What I will say is this team does have upside, but at the same time, what the big beast is lacking, you're not lacking it, but what you're lacking, the big beast is lacking. Like, for example, you're lacking in the quarterback room. He's not lacking in the quarterback room. You know what I mean? So you're lacking in the tight end room. He is also lacking in the tight end room. You know, you guys have on and offs here, but I do like the future first. I think for now, just based on looking at both your teams, I think you guys both have solid bases for next year. What I would say is you should try to gain a little bit more first round picks, guys. I would try to gain more first round picks so we could play for next year. For example, man, Bo Nix and Jordan Love are amazing, right? Amazing. But where'd you get Bo Nix, right? If we take a look at your team crib, you got Bo Nix at the 3-9, right? We got Bo Nix at the 3-9. Try maybe trading for a Mendoza and get another future first. You know, or try trading for a CJ Stroud and get another future first. You know what I mean? Try to get more future capital, guys. That's what I would recommend. But a 6.0 out of 10 for you, Crip, as well as 6.0 out of 10 for you, the Big Beast. But with that being said, guys, shout out to you for being here. I appreciate you. Shout out to Icy, KR, Killer, Crip, Cola, Foam, the Big Beast, Donda, Ryan, AE, B-Train, and Brad for all being here. I appreciate you guys. We're now going to go to League 37. And in League 37, only one person wanted a review, so we're going to go ahead and take care of their review real quick, guys. It was Turbo. Where you at, brother? All right, Turbo, here we go. You have your future first round picks. That's beautiful. You get an automatic 6.0 out of 10 for your draft capital. Where did you draft in here? It looks like you drafted at the 1-1. It does not look like you made any trades either. Your quarterback, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and you don't have a quarterback 3. That worries me, but Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are strong quarterbacks. I'm going to give that quarterback room a 6.5 out of 10. Kyron, Derrick Henry. You don't have a solid running back 3. That does worry me, but Kyron Williams and Derrick Henry are strong running backs. Another 6.5 out of 10. Egbuka and AJ Brown, Alec Pierce, Christian Watson, Xavier Worthy. I like that wide receiver room. A 7.0 out of 10. I'm not the biggest fan of Worthy, but he still has time to explode. I like this wide receiver room, a 7.0. So far, solid start. Let's take a look at your bench. You have Ramondre, Tua, Woody, Elijah, Isaac, Dalton Schultz. You need a better bench. You need a way better bench, especially because you're playing to win now, especially when you have running backs like a Derrick Henry who's old, when you have players like that. Your tight end is very nice with Tyler Warren as well. I would definitely try to trade for a better bench. You're playing to win now, so go ahead and give your draft capital away. Go ahead and give your draft capital away so you can get a better bench. That's what I would do in case one of your plays gets, or get a better flex 3, because I don't trust Worthy as my flex 3 right now. Also, Christian Watson is injury prone. So go ahead and trade your future first, future second, future third to get a better flex room and get a better bench. With that being said, very solid team still. I'll give it a 6.1 out of 10, Turbo. 6.1 out of 10, because your flexes still worry me and your bench still worries me. You also don't have a running back 3 that worries me. You also don't have a quarterback 3 that worries me as well. But solid so far. 6.1 Turbo. Shout out to you for being here. All right, guys. In League 38, nobody wanted a review. I'm not sure why. Just nobody wanted a review. So don't forget, guys, if you guys want a review, you guys need to DM me the league name, the title number of the league, which is 38, and your YouTube name, so I could double check if you're following or not. That's all you got to do, guys. All you got to do, just for the future. So we are gonna go forward to League 39, gentlemen. League 39, guys. League 39. All right, we do have a couple people in here. We do have Goodbird on this team. Let me know if you guys like these kind of reviews better, where I'm breaking it down piece by piece. Or let me know if you guys like it when I just go ahead and just, one by one, go ahead and take care of your team. But you don't have a future first round pick. That definitely makes your team on the weaker side. Goodbird. You did draft at the 110. It looks like you did move back. You have Dart as your quarterback, Cam Ward, and then Daniel Jones. I don't mind it. 6.0 out of 10 for your quarterback room. You have Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Jaren Price. Phenomenal. I'm going to give it another, that's probably going to be a 7.5 out of 10 for your running back room. Your wide receiver, Ted, Carnell Tate, Alec Pierce, Matthew Golden. Golden does bring it down a little bit, but he has a lot of upside. I really like that wide receiver room as well. I'm going to give it a 6.8 out of 10. Your bench, Stowers, JCM, Kenneth Gainwell, Skylar Bell, Stribling. You have upside with Stribling, upside with Stowers, upside with JCM. But what I don't see is safe player. You don't have safe players. Let's just say Matthew Golden doesn't do what he's expected. Pierce gets hurt. Or Carnell Tate doesn't do as expected or gets hurt. Or Breece Hall gets hurt. Who on your bench are you trusting to go in and play for your team? So your bench is on the weaker side. But what I will say is your quarterbacks are very solid. Running backs are solid. Wide receivers are solid. Your tight end is solid. Your bench could use improvement, but it has upside. I like this team. I'll give it a 7.2 out of 10, Goodbird. I like this team, but I would just make a couple trades. I don't think you need, in my opinion, a second and a second. You don't need 2 seconds at all, my friend. Go ahead and trade them. Go ahead and improve your bench. Go ahead and improve your flex 3. 7.2. I appreciate you for being here, Goodbird. We are now going to go forward to CMB, guys. CMB. All right, CMB, if we go ahead and take a look at your team, you do have 2 first-round picks as well as 2 third-round picks. That automatically boosts your team up to a 7.5 out of 10 on the draft rating. If we take a look at your team, you have Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, and you don't have a third quarterback. Your running backs, you have Travion, Josh Jacobs, and RJ Harvey, which I don't mind at all. And you have Rico Dowdle as well. That's a solid, because Josh Jacobs did get arrested. Travion's competing with Ramondre. RJ Harvey's competing with J.K. Dobbins. Rico's competing with Jalen Warren. I'm going to have to give this team a 6.2 out of 10 for the running back rating. JSN, Justin Jefferson, and Denzel Boston. I'm not loving that, but JSN and Justin Jefferson are elite. They're going to carry your team by themselves. I'll give that a 6.5 out of 10 rating. Now, why are we drafting Chris Godwin? Jacoby Myers. I'm guessing you're trying to compete this year, even though you have 2 first-round picks. That doesn't make sense to me. If you are trying to compete this year, go ahead and sell those first-round picks and try to get somebody better. I never understood the people that traded for future first and then tried competing by drafting older guys. I get the vision behind it, but if you are trying to compete, man, your first round pick is not going to be that high, and you know that. So what I would do if I were you is I would try to Trade those first round picks, or I would try to trade some of these old heads like Josh Jacobs, like a Chris Godwin, like a Jacoby Myers, like a Zach Charbonnet. I would try to, like a Juwan Jennings. You don't really need those guys. This team is confused with what it's trying to do. It's confused if it's trying to win now. It's confused if it's trying to, you know, be a decent team for next year. This team reminds me of the Steelers, okay? It's not amazing. It's not great. It's not bad. It's a 7-7 regular season team. It's not going to win the championship. It's not going to lose, you know, all the games they're going to play. It's going to be around a mid of the pack, maybe a little bit lower than mid. It's confused with its identity. So I would try to see what you can do with that. Like I said, it's middle of the pack. I'm going to give it a 5.0 out of 10. Team is confused with what it's trying to do, CMB. But shout out to you for being here. I appreciate you. We're going to go to Matt next, guys. Matt, welcome, my brother. All right, man. You do not have your future first. Automatic 0 out of 10 for you. So your team should be very solid. You have Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and Matthew Stafford. Beautiful. 7.0 out of 10 quarterback rating. Devon Achane, Saquon Barkley, Javonte and Travis Etienne. Amazing. 8.5 out of 10. Rashee Rice, Chris Olave, and Devontae Adams. A solid 7.5 out of 10. Brock Bowers, a 9.8 out of 10. Only reason it's not 10 is because I have McBride over Brock Bowers. You have Ty Simpson, George Kittle, Parker Washington, Michael Pittman, Rashad White. This is definitely a win-now team, and I can tell it's a win-now team because this is a very, very solid win-now team, guys. I can see this team going into championship. I can see this team having an identity. I can see the vision of the team. It's not the Steelers where they're just going to be middle of the pack. This team is probably a Chiefs team or an Eagles team. I like this team. I'm going to give this team a solid. This is probably one of the better teams that I really, really like. But it's championship or bust for you, man. It's championship or bust for you. Saquon's turning 30 years old. Javonte's on the older side as well. Not only that, Devontae Adams is on the older side, turning 34. Stafford's probably last year. Yes, you have Ty Simpson, but what's Simpson going to do? George Kittle turning 33. Pittman's turning 29. You know, it's a boom or bust. I wish he had more younger guys on this team. That is what I will say. But with that being said, man, 8.8, Maddie. I still really, really like this team. Probably one of the best teams that I have seen so far. Great drafting. All right, we are going to go to Yeet next. Yeet, let's go ahead and take a look at your team. 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks. 10 out of 10. Amazing rookie draft so far. I hope you don't have any old guys, man. Please do not tell me you drafted old guys, right? All right, Caleb Williams, Fernando Mendoza, great starting quarterbacks. Emmett Johnson, Jonathan Brooks, both have a lot of upside. Drake London, Roma Dunze, very, very young still. I like. Max Clare has upside next year. Brian Thomas, Mikal Lemon, J-Mo, still very, very young as well. I really like that for you. Chris Bell, Journey, Antonio, Carson Beck, Adam. This is what I'm looking for, man. When I'm looking for a person that has future first, I'm looking for a lot of upside for next year because you know you're not competing this year. You know you're gonna have to draft a lot of upside. Good thing you don't have you don't have any old players, and that's how it should be because you're playing for next year. I really like what you did with this team. I'm gonna give this team a solid 7.7 out of 10. The only reason I'm giving this team a 7.7 out of 10 is because if we look at your team fully, man, I don't know if I would have done anything differently. Maybe I think the only thing I would have done differently is the Brian Thomas reach here at the 512. I would have preferred Zay Flowers over Brian Thomas personally. Yes, Brian Thomas is younger, but Zay Flowers is proven to be consistent year after year. Now, Brian Thomas does have upside, but what if Brian Thomas just is like that. You know, what if he's a 1-year wonder? What if the rookie's never going to replicate his rookie year? You know what I mean? But I do like this team. Caleb Williams at the 210 is unheard of. You know, I love where you got him. Then you got Drake London at the 211 as well. I really do like this team. I think I'm going to boost the score to an 8.0 out of 10. I think this is a very solid team. Very solid team. When I see future first round picks in someone's team, this is a team kind of team I want people to be drafting. 8.0. All right, we are going to go to Rich's team next. Rich, welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rich, if we take a look at your team, all right, you do have 2 first-round picks next year, but this first-round pick is probably going to be the 111, 112, so I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. A 6.4 out of 10 for your first-round picks. Actually, a 7.0 out of 10 for your first-round picks because you do have 2. You have Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, and no. This is not your team. You have Caleb Williams. No, not your team either. You have Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and you don't have a third quarterback. You have Geno Smith, who I don't hate, actually. You got him in the 14th round. He's an insurance in case Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson gets hurt. I really do like that. I think Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts are one of the better quarterbacks in the Dynasty leagues. I'll give the quarterback room probably a 7.7 out of 10. Judkins and Chuba, as well as Jonah Coleman, Nicholas Singleton, your running backs are on the weaker side because you don't have a running back 3. Judkins is coming off of a massive injury. Chuba was injured all year last year as well. He tried playing on that injury. So your running backs are injury prone. You don't have a third running back you can trust. A 4.0 out of 10. Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, phenomenal wide receiver room. An 8.5 out of 10. Singleton, Sutton, Geno, Aaron Jones, Kate Auden, Deshaun Watson, Eli Hendrick, whatever it is. Aaron Jones, he's injury prone as well, man. Why are we drafting somebody that's injury prone as well? What I will say about this team is that it does have upside with Singleton, but then it gets lost in what it's trying to do. Right? Why are we drafting a Deshaun Watson? Why are we drafting a Kate Auden? Why are we drafting an Aaron Jones, right? Your bench should be right now filled with upside. You also have 2 first-round picks. You're not playing to win now. If you are playing to win now, trade those 2 first-round picks right now and go get a better flex 3 because Jonah Coleman is not going to cut it. Now, you might be putting Sutton in there, but Sutton did not have an amazing last year either, guys. You know, he did have his... Okay, let me say why he didn't have the most amazing last year. He had his career high last year, but if we take a look at Troy Franklin was competing with him one-on-one when he wasn't really that hurt. Not only that, Jalen Waddle is in that team. So do we really think he's going to be replicating these numbers again with Jalen Waddle when he's turning 31 years old? You know, that's going to be very hard. It's not a Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams situation because Bo Nix is not a Matthew Stafford. So I would be concerned with my flex 3 for sure, but this is still a very solid team, man. Your quarterbacks are solid. Your running backs do need work, but your wide receivers are amazing. Your tight end is weak, though. Why are we drafting a Dalton Kincaid and a Kate Auden? Your tight end is on the weaker side, but it is above average team, man. This is an above average team. I'm going to give this team a solid 6.0 out of 10, Rich. 6.0 out of 10. Above average. Appreciate you for being here, guys. With that being said, man, shout out to Mexicody, Maddie, Yeet, Rich, AMC, Russ, CMB, Nutless, Goodbird, Duzzy, and Tiny Rick for all being here and drafting with us, guys. Last but not least, we are going to go to League 40, gentlemen. League 40. Shout out to everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys, man. We take a look at League 40. E2000 wanted a review, so we're going to go ahead. 3 people wanted a review here, so we're going to go ahead and review their teams real quick. E2000, you are going to be drafting at the 112th. It looks like you didn't make a trade to move up to get Jeremiah Love. You do not have your first round picks. That's a solid 0.0 out of 10. But let's see how your team is, man. Matthew Stafford, Malik Willis. I don't like this at all. Malik Willis has a chance not to be the starter next year. Matthew Stafford has a chance to retire next year. Jeremiah Love, James Cook, Brees Hall. Solid running back room. I'll give it an 8.0 out of 10 for the running back room. Jefferson, Lamb, AJ Brown. That's a solid team as well. That's a solid wide receiver room as well. I'll give it an 8.0 as well. Your flex 3 is very weak with Jonah Coleman, man. You have Romeo Doubs, Jonathan Brooks, Jacoby. You have 2 Jacobys, TJ Spears. The bench needs a lot of work. Romeo Doubs, I cannot trust him with AJ Brown being on that team. Jonathan Brooks is coming out back-to-back ACL tears. The chances he's going to be playing even half of how he used to play is 25%. It's very low on back-to-back ACL tears, guys. Be very careful with Jonathan Brooks. The bench needs a lot of work. The flex 3 needs a lot of work. The quarterbacks need a lot of work. But the running backs and the wide receivers, from what I've seen, is very solid. And the tight end is very good with Harold Fannin, who has a lot of upside, guys. With that being said, I do think this team needs a lot of work as well. I think, yes, you traded your future first, but why is your flex still on the weaker side? Why is your bench still on the weaker side? Why is your quarterback still on the weaker side? I think I'm going to have to give this team, unfortunately, a 4.4 out of 10 E2000. If I were you, man, I would try to trade Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb to try to get a better quarterback and to get a better flex. Maybe downgrade at wide receiver or downgrade at, running back, and try to get a better overall balanced team. But with that being said, 4.4. Shout out to you for being here. We're gonna go to Brees Lightning next. Brees, welcome, my friend. If we take a look at your team, man, you do not have any of your first round picks at all, Brees, at all. All right. With that being said, that's of course a 0.0 future rating. But let's go ahead and take a look at how you drafted here, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at how you drafted here, Brees. You have Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. You do not have a third quarterback, which is very weak, like I said before. But Lamar and Dak Prescott are very solid. You getting Lamar at the 2.6 is a steal. I love the fact you got him there. I'm going to give it a 6.8 out of 10 for the quarterback room. JT, Kenneth Walker, Saquon. Very good running back room. I'm going to have to give that running back room an 8.7 out of 10. The main reason for that is because that's a very strong running back room. Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Higgins. Very weak wide receiver room, man. DJ Moore's turning 30. Terry McLaurin's turning 31. And then Jaden Higgins is wide receiver 2 with the Texans with CJ Stroud throwing to him. I don't trust that wide receiver room besides Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll give it a 3.0 out of 10 for the wide receiver room. Your tight end is a 9.8 out of 10. Phenomenal. You have Jake Ferguson as well. Strange as well. Chig, why are we drafting so many tight ends? Yes, it's a 0.5 TEP, but why are we drafting so many tight ends in our earlier picks instead of taking some people that could be the wide receiver ones, future wide receiver ones, future Puka Nakuas, future Chase Browns, future Bucky Irvings? We don't get that by drafting tight ends that, yes, I get Jake Ferguson, but Strange and Chig, Caleb Johnson, then David Njoku again. Too many tight ends on this team, man. Way too many tight ends on this team, unfortunately. Jaden Higgins is also on the weaker side for your flex 2. And you don't have a quarterback 3. You also don't have any future first round picks. But I like the team so far. It's very solid. This team, I see the vision with it, but I would still try to trade away Lamar Jackson, get a lower tiered quarterback so you could make your flex 3 on the stronger side. I'll give it a 6.4 out of 10. Because of your flex room and your bench with so many tight ends for no reason. But shout out to you for you being here. I appreciate you. And 6.4 for you, my friend. We're now going to move forward to the K. The K seems like you did do some trades as well. And I like seeing that a lot. You do have an extra second round pick. You'll get a 6.2 out of 10 for the draft. For the draft capital. You have Mahomes. You have Jalen Hurts. You don't have a third quarterback either, but Mahomes and Hurts are very strong quarterbacks, guys. I'm going to give that quarterback room a 7.2 out of 10. Rashad White and Kenneth Gainwell, we won't talk about them. We won't talk about them. But Puka and Rashee Rice are going to be elite wide receivers. You also have Devontae Luther and Jalen Waddle. This is a 10 out of 10 wide receiver room. I love 10 out of 10 wide receiver room. Laporta as your tight end. An 8.5 out of 10. I love that for you. You have Omar Cooper, Matthew Gold. Okay, guys. guys, are we trying to compete this year? Right, we're trying to compete this year, right? Definitely trade your future first round pick, second round pick, and second round pick and get a stronger running back. You are trying to compete this year, so what I would do is when you have so many good wide receivers already, do not get lost in the vision with more wide receivers. Why are we drafting an Omar Cooper? Why are we drafting a Matthew Golden? Why are we drafting a Chris Bell? Instead of Omar Cooper, go ahead and take a Kalmanan guy. Instead of Matthew Golden, go ahead and take a David Montgomery. Go ahead and take a Chuba Hubbard. So then you can also compete this year while having future capital as well. But right now, your running backs are confused with what they're doing, man. I don't like that at all for you. You also don't have a solid running back 3. That weakens your team a lot. But, man, the wide receivers are amazing. The tight end is great. The quarterbacks are phenomenal. Your draft capital is nice. But your bench is on the weaker side. Your running backs are on the weaker side, but still a very solid team. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. I do like this team more than Breeze's team. 6.5. Shout out to you for being here, K. I appreciate you. And with that being said, guys, shout out to Easy, Salami, Jag, Judge, Luan, Zach Wilson, K, Mason, Obi, Breeze, Jucifer, and E2000. Guys, don't forget, if you drafted bad or if you got a lower rating, you can always try to redeem yourself in our future drafts, guys. Or you can try to see if you can make some trades and make a better team. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your night, guys, and I will take care of you guys.